Sayadaw has been explaining the other day how Satipatthana is developed, and Sayadaw explained combining with theory. So Sayadaw explains theory and the practice so that yogis can compare their experience to the theory that Sayadaw explains. In order to note every arising object, such as rising and falling of the abdomen, one needs to exert effort continuously, again and again, so that the noting mind will be reaching the object. And one should be exerting effort continuously over and over again, so that Sati mindfulness will stick onto the object. If the momentum of effort is slack, the noting mind will go slowly sticking on the object. If the momentum of viriya effort is good, then the mind quickly sticks onto the object. And one should note in such a way so that the noting mind should cover and spread onto the whole object, on every object that arises. In order to make the noting mind direct or face to face with the object, one needs to aim and direct the mind onto the object, and there also involves jhanic factors. Exerting effort in noting the object, the noting mind reaches the object, and one needs to aim the noting mind towards the object so that the noting mind will be direct or face to face with the object. Noting the object with aim and effort, the noting mind will rub against the object, the noting mind strokes against the object, and there will be certainty. Uncertainty and doubt will not arise when one is certain about the object, when the noting mind rubs and strokes against the object. And when the noting mind rubs and strokes against the object, yogi discerns what it is. And if the yogi has been noting that way, it doesn't take long for him or for her to make progress in the practice. Even within 1 or 2 sittings, yogi gains special experiences by noting the object with aim and effort, and the noting mind rubs and strokes against the object. But if the yogi is practicing flippantly in an easy-going manner, then every day his or her experience will be the same every day, and even 1 week after another, the experience will be the same, and it will be wasting time. In order to make the time worthy, one should exert effort in the practice. And Sayadaw has been explaining from the teachings of the Buddha so that yogis can compare with their practice. By practicing respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, one understands the practice. There will be faith and confidence in the practice. There will be strong will in the practice. And the practice will progress moment after moment, sitting after sitting. When the effort is strengthened, mindfulness will stick onto the object. Exerting effort in noting the object, Sati, mindfulness, sinks into the object, and mindfulness arises in great momentum, and the mindfulness covers the whole object. The mindfulness covers the entire object, and Sati, mindfulness, will become stronger even within a few days. Lord Sayadaw has been explaining in order that the yogis should be developing good quality mindfulness in their practice. And while there has been explanation, yogis should listen attentively, and they should not be gazing, they should not be dozing, and they should not be sleeping while the instructions are given. Noting whatever object that arises at the present moment, such as rising and falling of the abdomen, as much one exerts effort, the more mindfulness will stick onto the object. Exerting efforts for one moment, for that moment, the mindfulness will stick onto the object. If there are 10 moments of effort, there will be 10 moments the mindfulness sustain on the object. Due to the effort, the noting mind sticks onto the object, and it will become Satipatthana. But in the beginning, the quality of Sati, mindfulness, will not be as good, but later on, mindfulness increases and it will progress stage by stage. As soon as the object arises, the effort should gain the upper hand, and one should constantly make the effort again and again, continuously, in noting the object. Exerting effort in the practice, and when there is aiming the noting mind towards the object, then the mindfulness as if enters the object. As much the effort is strong, the sharper the mindfulness will be. If one throws something light into the water, it does not sink in the water, but it will be floating on the surface. But throwing a heavy thing into the water, the thing will sink. One should note the object so that the mindfulness will sink into the object and not just to float on the surface. Apilapana lekhana sati. Sati has the characteristic of not wobbling, not floating on the surface. When the object arises, the mindfulness sinks into the object. So as soon as the object arises, one should note in such a way so that mindfulness will stick onto the object, and one should not be superficial in noting the object. When throwing a pebble or a piece of rock, stone into the water, it sinks. So there needs to be effort in throwing so that the object sinks into the water quickly, and it will sink deeply and quickly based on the effort that the thrower exerts. In noting the object, one should exert effort so that the mindfulness will stick onto the object. Mindfulness will be sustained on the object, and it is Satipatthana. In order that the mindfulness should sink into the object, one should exert effort continuously so that one will not lose sight of the object. Every time rising of the abdomen arises, one should notice so that one does not lose sight of the object. Noting the object with effort, Sati mindfulness will be deep, and Sati mindfulness will be continuous, that one does not lose sight of the object. Asamosa rasa is the function of Sati. The function of Sati is not losing sight of the object, always keeping the object in view so that it does not lose the sight of the object. In order to discern the true nature, it is important to know the characteristics and how it functions. If the person is gazing, dozing, daydreaming, then the person is not making effort and the person loses sight of the object. One needs to exert effort in the practice as well as aim and direct the mind onto the object, and the noting mind will rub against the object, and there is the jhanic factor involved. Visaya Vimukha Bhava Paccupatthana. The mindfulness has the manifestation of confronting or being direct or face-to-face with the object. Rising, falling of the abdomen, lifting, moving, placing, all of these are called Visaya, the object. Whenever the object arises, every time the object arises, by making effort in noting the object, the noting mind becomes direct or face-to-face with the object. So every time one makes the effort in the noting mind is direct or face-to-face with the object, and it is the manifestation of Sati. So by noting the object, the characteristic, function, and the manifestation will become prevalent. At times, the mindfulness sinking into the object become obvious. At times, it is obvious that the mindfulness does not lose sight of the object. At times, it manifests as the mindfulness coming face to face or direct with the object. By discerning any of these three, the nature, the function, and the manifestation, by coming to know any one of these three, it is said that yogi discerns Sati, yogi discerns the mindfulness. The mindfulness should stick onto the object. Mindfulness should be sustained and established on the object, and mindfulness should be continuously sustained, steadfastly sustained, firm on the object. So it is the quality of Sati. Having Sati, mindfulness, the defilements that can arise by lack of mindfulness will not have chance to enter the mind. So there is Araka Pasupatthana. Sati manifests as protecting the mind away from the defilements, so that the defilements cannot enter. In this way, Sati mindfulness guards and protects the mind, so that the defilements cannot enter. Delusion, confusion cannot enter. In this way, mindfulness guards, protects the mind. Mindfulness blocks so that the defilements cannot enter. So if there is guarding, protecting, blocking the mind away from the defilements, then there will be safety, security, and the mind is free from the agitation of defilements. So one should be cultivating the kind of mind that is safe and secure away from defilements, not being agitated by defilements. And in order to make that happen, one should exert effort continuously so that there will be sustained mindfulness and there will be Araka Pasupatthana. The mind has the manifestation of guarding, protecting the mind. When there is sustained mindfulness, there will be more safety, security. The mind is free from the agitation of defilements. The mind will not be influenced by the defilements. The mind will not be captivated by the defilements, and thus the mind is safe, secure, and free. In every object that arises, mindfulness should stick onto the object so that there will be outstanding security, safety, freedom away from defilements. And such kind of happiness excels many times than the mundane happiness, that excels many times than the worldly happiness. And through the practice, there will be Nikkama Sukha, the happiness of renunciation, Upasama Sukha, the happiness calming, suppressing the defilements, and the person is happy with the practice. As much one can know the object efficiently, effectively, one will discern very clearly, and there will be Sambodharati, the delight that is gained by attaining knowledge. And it excels many times than the worldly happiness. So with the sensual pleasure, one cannot gain mindfulness. By practicing, by noting the object effectively, efficiently, one gains the happiness that excels many times than the worldly happiness. So it is important to give priority to the Dhamma happiness so that it will be worthy of spending so much time in the practice. It will be worthy of taking the pains to practice. In whatever posture that the person is in, sitting, standing, lying, walking, bending, stretching, in whatever posture one is in, one should be mindful of whatever object that arises freshly new, so that Sati mindfulness will be face to face with the object. So the manifestation of Sati, the mindfulness being face to face or direct with the object, it is the cause. And when mindfulness is direct or face to face with the object, the effect will be that Arakha Pachupatthana, mindfulness will be the protection, protecting the mind away from the defilements. And it is the manifestation that arises as the effect. Yogi will even cherish and value the Sati more and more, and the yogi will exert effort continuously so that the mind, the noting mind is concurrent with the object. The defilements have no chance to enter into the mind, and the mind is being guarded, protected by mindfulness, and this will be experienced by the yogi. It will be the immediate benefit one gets from the practice. So when mindfulness is continuous, one after another, then Sati mindfulness will gain momentum amazingly. So when the mindfulness is continuous, there will be great momentum of Sati mindfulness as much there is momentum of Viriya effort. When the mindfulness gains momentum, the mind will rush against the object, so that yogi practices with much ease and comfort, and there will be happiness. So such kind of experience will happen to the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, and the person's practice itself will keep him or her going further in the practice. Having viriya, effort does not accept the defilements. Having effort repels the defilements. And also vitakka, having vitakka, aiming, directing the noting mind onto the object, the defilements cannot enter, noting the object with aim and effort. When the defilements enter the mind will not be clear, the mind will not be pure. Having Sati, mindfulness, the mind is clear, serene. There is Saddha, faith and confidence that keeps the mind serene. And the notings are continuous, one after another. There is clarity, serenity, and the person discerns. As much one discerns, the more faith and confidence the person will have, and Sati mindfulness gain momentum, and it will become stronger and stronger. In the practice, Sati is not just used as Sati, but Buddha use it as Satipatthana. Thana, it means established, and Pa has the meaning that it is the good quality, the strong quality. It is not just, it is very strong, that it does not become weak. It is very strong and firm, full of strength, full of efficiency, and it is very outstanding from the ordinary form of Sati. So it is explained as Vicheta. Vicheta means very outstanding mindfulness of the very good quality mindfulness. So Patthana means outstandingly good quality mindfulness. So as much one's effort is strong, one will have Satipatthana, the outstanding good quality mindfulness. It is very strong that it does not become weak. If the person is practicing without faith and confidence, if the person practices but his or her practice is very slack, then it is not possible for him or her to have good quality mindfulness. In order to have outstandingly good quality mindfulness, one should exert effort continuously so that the noting will be effective and efficient. When doing something that is beneficial, in order to get benefit, one cannot do so with the ordinary form of effort. In order to gain the destination, one's goal, one needs to make strong effort in order to reach the goal. So one should not be thinking of doing better than others, but one should make the effort in the practice so that one's quality of mindfulness will become better and better. In the beginning, it can be slow, but when one keeps on practicing, the progress will become faster and faster, and the quality of mindfulness will become better and better. In order to have good quality mindfulness, one should make the effort continuously. One should note the object so that the noting mind will be concurrent with the object, and Sati mindfulness will protect the mind. There should be Paṇḍitā Sayadaw. The mindfulness should rush into the object. As much there is momentum in the effort, the momentum of mindfulness will also be increased. The noting mind rubs against the object. There is great momentum in noting the object. The speed of the noting, the momentum of the noting become faster and faster, and the mindfulness rushes against the object. The mindfulness rushes into the object in great speed. Whatever object that arises, the mind rushes towards the object in great momentum. And there is strong effort aiming, directing the noting mind onto the object so that the mindfulness also is in fast speed. So one needs to keep on practicing so that the more one practices, the better the momentum of the mindfulness. Sayadaw gives the example when running a marathon, if the person is afraid to be exhausted, then the person does not run as quick enough and the person will not be the winner. In the same way, when practicing, one should assert all the effort the person has so that the mindfulness will be in great momentum. In order to reach that situation, when listening to the benefit of Satipatthana practice, one should listen attentively, respectfully. One should have faith and confidence, and one should practice accordingly, practicing respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, not stopping, not resting in between, so that one will reach that stage of practice within a very short time. But if the person is cowardly in the practice, not making the effort, then he or she will not gain the benefits. So in order to get the benefits of practice, the effort should not be slack. If the person is not making the effort, if the effort is slack, not aiming the noting mind onto the object, then it will be the same experience day by day. And the person will not be gaining good quality mindfulness. So there is still time. One should understand that in order to have the good quality mindfulness that is efficient, one needs to practice respectfully, meticulously, without stopping, without taking rest. So may you all be able to practice diligently, respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, so that you will be able to develop a very good quality mindfulness, so that you will also be getting the benefits of Satipatthana practice very soon. And this will be all for today.